Train Sim World 5 has been announced. So let's go through the mammoth roadmap in today's video. Part 1. Cue the intro. Welcome aboard, passengers. MegaSim here, and welcome to the roadmap for Train Sim World 5. I wasn't able to do it yesterday as I was working all day, then we popped to Hailing Island for the evening, so I decided I'll wake up a little earlier than usual and record this so we can document the roadmap. This is part 1. I've got all the screenshots going through, so we'll be having a look at them as they're running through, plus reading this roadmap. So, too long, didn't read, summary for all you guys that want to just hear the little tidbits of what is happening. So, Train Sim World 5 arriving September 17th, 2024. We're not American. Arriving 17th of September 2024. UK, we have the West Coast Mainline, London Euston to Milton Keynes. We have a loco DLC, part of the deluxe pack, the Avanti Class 390 Pendolino. Then we go back to standard again, San Bernardino Line, Los Angeles to San Bernardino. Then the German line, the Frankfurt to Fulda, Kings and Carlisle. I know, I can't pronounce German words or German places, so bear with me on that. And then the deluxe loco DLC, the FlixTrain BR193 Vectron. And just as a reminder for everyone, a free starter pack. Train Sim World 5 starter pack, which gives you training centre, is available for new Train Sim World people. But remember, it only contains the training centre, or for existing previous versions of Train Sim World, you can use that to upgrade, and that is free for a month. But more details are probably coming later in the roadmap. So, future route announcements. We've got the MBTA commuter, Boston to Framingham. Is it Framingham or Framingham? To Worcester Line. The Great Western Express remaster. That is something that I am really looking forward to seeing. I can't pronounce that. The Pfalzig Ludwigsbahn, Mannheim to Kaiserslautern. The West Coast Mainline, Preston to Carlisle from Just Trains. The Cardiff City Network, Train Sim World's first Welsh route. The Spulgen Zwell, again, I'm sorry, Groningen, that is the first Dutch route. And the update on the Tadami Line from Union Workshop, so the first Japanese route. Airbus planes are coming to Train Sim World 5. Train Sim World VR New York, first venture into VR on the Harlem Line. Train Sim World Tycoon, a new free-to-play title coming to Roblox this year. And City Transport Simulator Tram, details on the 0.3 update. There is lots to come in this roadmap, and as you can probably hear, I need to blow my nose, and then we will continue. So, the Train Sim World roadmap. Did you like the Dovetail Direct that we had the other night? It was epic, wasn't it? It was crammed full of goodness that's coming. Now that's me getting excited. Yes, I am an ambassador, but I am getting excited because I've seen a few of these things that's going on, and it is exciting. There are exciting times coming to Dovetail and to Train Sim World. So, as we know, roadmaps are a dedicated space where the development teams will provide details and breakdown of all the new exciting content coming with the release of Train Sim World 5, which will be the 17th of September. And then there's a visual reminder of everything and a peek at the Train Sim World 5 overview. So they'll be covering this in more detail across 2 articles. Part 1, which we're doing now, will focus on the new routes and locomotives that you'll find in Train Sim World 5, sharing more information about everything that was announced in Dovetail Direct, insights from the Dovetail development team, and of course all new exciting screenshots to dive into before the release. Now, Part 2 article, which will be coming, that will dive into all the new core features that they've implemented and improved in Train Sim World 5, and check-ins with the third-party partners for Train Sim World on their upcoming projects. So, I'm doing this today when it should have been yesterday, so hopefully if I get some time I'll try and do it tonight, if I can, but if not, it will be over the next couple of days that I'll do Part 2. If you want all the information on Train Sim World 5, head to the Train Sim World 5 FAQs master page, and they'll be posting separate dedicated articles for each of the 3 new core routes to explore the timetables, key route features, service scenario specifics, which we can expect to see from next week or starting next week. We're not going to get all 3 straight away. So, there is a roadmap live stream tonight on YouTube and Twitch, so if you do want to check that out, go and have a look at that tonight. But that won't be all. Each week until the launch for a live showcase, there will be a live showcase for each of the new routes and new features coming to Train Sim World 5. So, 22nd of August is the Train Sim World 5 roadmap live stream. 29th of August is the West Coast Mainline preview. I'm not awake. 5th of September, San Bernardino Line preview. And 11th of September, Frankfurt Fulda preview. And then 17th of September, launch day Let's Play. Now you're all shouting at me going, but there's early release. It's probably mentioned in the roadmap. I've not read the roadmap yet. All I've done is I've just scrolled down, get all the images, and then put it into this little video, and that's what we're doing. And can you hear what's going on in the background? This is the Train Sim World 5 menu music. So have a listen to that as well whilst we're doing this. So, as a bit of fun, of trivia, the passive sounds heard during the countdown were taken directly from San Bernardino Station. And if you caught the sneaky hits of the Train Sim World 5 main music menu at the stroke of each hour, well, if you do want to hear the full soundtrack that's not on this video, you can actually listen to it on YouTube, and I guess they will be bringing it out to the music channels like they did last year for Train Sim World 4. So, Train Sim World 5 routes and locos. First of all, we're going to be looking at the West Coast Mainline London Euston to Milton Keynes. Let's dive in with maybe the most requested UK route to date. Oh, stupid laptop. Yes, I know it's somebody's wedding anniversary today. So, the West Coast Mainline. Get ready to be swept off your feet with commuter mayhem, operating semi-fast and commuter services between Euston and Milton Keynes, all from the detailed cab of a Northwestern Class 350. So, we're going to be talking to the product marketing coordinator James to share more details. So James, what makes the West Coast Mainline so requested? Well, James said that the culmination of sheer variety that comes together in this route is a sight to behold. They've spoken among themselves about the desire to go west for a long time, but the challenge was always, how do you get all the vastly different trains together? Well, thanks to the passage of time and many development efforts throughout Train Sim World's history, they have the Class 377/2, which is a conversion of the /4 version we have. The 1972 stock from the Bakerloo line, which is included with updated lighting and rain effects. The ever versatile and, why aren't we getting another one, Class 66. Although, now sporting its modern DB cargo UK livery. The Class 710 layering in from the Suffragette line. And then all that was needed was the addition of the new Class 350 and the Class 390 in Deluxe, and that would finally have all the pieces to bring West Coast Mainline's Trains in the World with the variety it needed. So, what does a run look like from end to end? Well, a run up or down the West Coast Mainline, whether you're in a stopping service or an express run, it's thrilling. From top to bottom, the whole route is never less than 4 tracks wide. And with the addition of the TfL services in the Greater London area too, catch the right moment and trains can be either side of you. The 28 stations on the route are all served by different kinds of services and operators, so it will take several different runs before you're able to visit them all, and everything has its purpose. So what was the most challenging part of developing the route? Well, as can be expected with the route of this size, the timetable represents perhaps the most complex and dynamic challenge. Unlike Brighton Mainline, which was dozens of the same trains doing the same things, or South Eastern High Speed with the business spread out across vastly different areas of the route, this is all crammed into one main line. As such, getting the services to work together can prove troublesome. Why is a Bakerloo line train late? Oh, because the overground service is being held up at Euston by this 350 that was stuck behind a 377, itself lagged behind a 66. You know, you get the idea. So points of interest on the route for players to look out for. Well, it's London. So, of course, there are buildings everywhere, but the highlight ones for James are the BT Tower, Wembley Stadium, and while curving out of Euston, the line is eclipsed by the pinnacle of Camden's brutalist architecture, namely the Alexandra Road Estate, with its staggered concrete apartments almost overhanging the Downfast line. Away from London, there's still nice things to spot. The under construction East-West rail line at Bletchley is a nice glimpse of the future, as is the work to build HS2 at Euston, of course. You sure? Anyway. But there's also 2 things to point out near Cheddington. To the south of the station you pass by the tranquil Pitstone Wharf Marina, complete with canal boats, and to the north the West Coast Main Line races across over at the very short but notable Bridgego Bridge. Bridgego Bridge, well, okay. Formerly known as the Mentmore Bridge, but is more historically known as the site of the Great Train Robbery. So are there any unique features that the route offers? Well, it's primarily for the Pendolino, but the use of EPS, or Enhanced Permitted Speed Boards, on the West Coast Main Line is fairly unique among UK routes overall. Unlike traditional speedboards, which can offer a blanket line speed for all traffic or reduced speed for locomotives and freight trains, the EPS boards allow for a speed limit higher than that of the actual speed limit, with the caveat that it only applied to stock with tilt enabled. So just being in at 390 is not enough. If for any reason you have the tilting system isolated, you would be expected to follow traditional speed limits. So James, what's your favourite part of the route? Well, actually it wasn't James. We then chat to Daisy. So she supported the Birmingham Cross City, or scenery additions to South Eastern High Speed, and her words on the matter were very much reflected of Dovetails. It's got to be the approach to Euston. Seeing the iconic telecommunications tower on the skyline come into view as you enter the platforms at 25 miles per hour. One of the rare UK stations where the line speed is so high entering a terminus station. Make sure to slow down well before the buffers though, as the TPWS will still get you if you're not approaching the buffers with care. So that's something that I was aware of, that 25 miles an hour, that's quite fast, because usually these trains go down to like 15, but this is a really good one, 25 miles an hour. But of course, it's not the West Coast Main Line without the Avanti West Coast BR Class 390 Pendolino, the iconic Pendolino in the Avanti West Coast livery. And we're going to be checking in with insights from Tom Waters, the lead artist on Trainsim World, who helped recreate this heavily requested locomotive. So, the Pendolino is finally in Trainsim World. Why should everyone get excited, Tom? So, Avanti have been very cooperative for them to work with, allowing their teams to source much of the labelling, branding and details straight from source during the reference trips to Avanti in Wolverhampton, and ensure the utmost accuracy when recreating the loco. The 390 will bring high-speed operation to the West Coast Mainline in Avanti's freshly refurbished train sets, available in both 9 and 11 car variants, as it races along the West Coast Mainline at up to 125 miles per hour and providing a thrilling counterpart to complement the stop-start commuter services offered by the Class 350. And for a quick mention with Adam, the senior audio designer, so the audio teams were also able to use this opportunity to grab authentic recordings with a static 390. And for moving sounds, they've used resources and support working with members across the community. So what makes the Pendolino so special to the West Coast Mainline? Well, Tom said that you can't think of the West Coast Mainline in modern times and not think of the Class 390 Pendolino. It's been plying its trade, ferrying commuters and travellers alike up and down the West Coast Mainline for the last 20 years, with it showing no sign of slowing down anytime soon. Well, besides scheduled stops, of course. So what unique features stand out in the Pendolino then? Well, it goes without saying, but the Class 390 is equipped to tilt, hence Pendolino. This allows it to handle the topography of the West Coast Mainline without sacrificing speed, by means of tilting into curved sections of the track. They've only scratched the surface with tilting trains in Train Sim World previously, so it's exciting to be able to introduce 2 new additions with the release of Train Sim World 5, both with the Pendolino and the ICET. T does not stand for tilting. So, there is going to be a preview of the West Coast Mainline on the 29th of August, where you'll be able to see them in action ahead of the launch. Let's now look at San Bernardino Line, Los Angeles to San Bernardino. Head over to the US, connect with some of the most played American routes with the San Bernardino Line. So to give us more insight into what we can expect, the artist Sam, who worked closely developing some of the environmental art across the line. So Sam, what excites you about San Bernardino? Well, there's lots of variety. Hidden nooks and long sightlines make for a visual feast. San Bernardino has a little bit to offer for everyone, from urban to rural, from passenger to freight. If you're looking for something unique, a large section of the route has highways running parallel to the track, which can make for some very interesting screenshots in photo mode. Oh, and crossings. Lots and lots of crossings. He's personally very fond of the Rialto Line area. It has a rural feel to it, and that brings its own charms. The station has a wonderful old wooden building with some ornate features like the lamps and signage. So what does the run look like from end to end? Well, head on out of the busy LA Union, saunter past the LA River, slowly leaving downtown behind and meandering onto the suburbs. Past the road chaos of Cal State, we travel onwards towards the small but unique stations that highlight this route, the likes of Hollywood-inspired El Monte, the murals and wooden canopies of Baldwin Park, past the Speedway station with its racetrack, and onto pink slate canopies of Fontana, and the old world feel of Rialto, with much, much more in between. Then we leave that all behind as we enter San Bernardino. Large yards, sprawling city greet us, with the freight-heavy San Bernardino depot and the passenger terminus, San Bernardino downtown. So do you have any areas on the route for players to look out for? Speedway station. This is used only when race events are on, which is often quiet, but not too far from the track is the now NASCAR-owned circuit, and there is a mastery tile linked with that location. The Olive Pit Mining Quarry in Baldwin Park. The track runs alongside the mining quarry, and it's quite the spectacle to behold. Freeway Spaghetti Junction. Cal State Station has a wonderful view of the intricate dance of the San Bernardino and Long Beach freeways. And the San Gabriel River Trail. The track crosses the meandering, dried-up riverbed between El Monte and Baldwin Park, home to a cornucopia of vegetation. So how have our teams gathered audio for the sounds of the MP36PH? Well, here's Adam again. Metrolink have been incredibly kind to them. They've put them in their own private train to record the mainline running sounds of the MP36 and the rest of the fleet. They even took them to the full length of the line, and it was just them on it, no public. They were very, very lucky, and it was definitely going above and beyond, which is a very memorable moment to them. So most challenging part then of developing San Bernardino. Sam, let us know. Well, much of the route is flat, with long sight lines leading for large distances to scenic mountains. On top of that, there are a lot of sprawling but dense cities and suburbs. This provides fantastic opportunities for screenshots in photo mode, particularly with some of its new features. But it was a challenging combo where they wanted to capture these visuals, this essence, and keep the game performing smoothly. Additionally, for those who pick up the deluxe edition, you will also get Cajon Pass. You may already have it, but this is a Californian route featuring BNSF operated stock, including the ES44C4 and the SD40-2 locomotives. And this will perfectly link to the San Bernardino line via the new route hopping feature available at San Bernardino Station, or hop over to the Antelope Valley line via Los Angeles Station. So, it's 5th of September, first peak of the San Bernardino line. The next route, Frankfurt Fulda, the Kingsigtalbahn. Again, I need to hear someone say this. I've not watched the Dovetail Direct because I'm on holiday at the moment. Finally, let's twist right into the newest German route with that route, which packs a whopping 103 kilometres of track between Frankfurt and Fulda HBF. Expected a whole host of variety, and you turn and bang around the scenic Kinzig Valley aboard the tilting DBBR 411 ICE T. T does not stand for tilt. Shuttle along the route in the regional BR 114 in Dostos, and haul freight with the mighty DB Vectron. James is back to tell us more. Why should players be excited? Well, Germany's second busiest station says it all. Starting a route in Frankfurt has been a goal for a long time, especially for Lucas, one of the producers, who is very familiar with the railways in Hesse. Frankfurt is a great hub for all types of passenger services, but the focus will be regional, intercity and ICE services, which immediately turn 180 degrees and embark on the 100-kilometre run to Fulda, which you may know as the midpoint of Kessel-Wurzburg. This means there is something for everyone. 5 trains are included, with even more of your collection layering in. The audio teams also went out to Germany for a recording trip to get sounds for the ICET, and recorded them both statically and moving at specific speeds. So what does a run look like from end to end? Well, that varies on the type of service you're running, but by far the most dynamic are the ICET services. As we will get into later, the GST tilting functionality is an immediate transformation of the experience, but it also keeps you engaged in the cab, as there are multiple systems you will interact with, PZB and CIFA of course, but GNT plays a key role in the enhanced speed limits of tilting trains, and on top of that, there are also sections of LZB scattered about this route. You really get a sense of varied driving, all while passing regional and other intercity traffic, sections of the Frankfurt S-Bahn, and also interacting with freight along the way. So were there any challenges then when developing Frankfurt Fulda? Well, making 24 stations for a route like this is always a challenge. Despite already having Fulda as a starting point, there were still half a dozen big stations to make, including Frankfurt of course, but also the ones in between that get us to the total. And of course, no route to this complex would be complete without authentic track. Ensuring all the curves and junctions are correct can be a very engaging and time-consuming task. So what should players on the route look out for as they drive? Well, the main highlight of the route of the show is all the scenery around Frankfurt, from outskirts to financial hub skyline. It's built up all the way between HBF and Hanau. Bespoke buildings and thriving industry populate the ground. Meanwhile, we have also taken the time to fill out the route above the horizon. Look out for aircraft, which we'll get into later, following realistic flight paths and holding patterns all across the city. So are there any unique features that the route offers? Well, not unique in isolation. This is the first route that has been previously mentioned combination of LZB and GNT, meaning there will be moments of semi-automated speed supervision, as well as sections that allow the ICET to go faster than other trains. This means that even driving other ICE layers such as the ICE1 differs compared to the ICET, and there are also sections without either system. So what's your favourite part of the route? Well, you might expect to say Frankfurt, but that feels too obvious. So he's going to call out a short section just outside the Fulda station. To accommodate a diverging junction, there is a brief moment where the main running lines diverge, and then shortly after they diverge again and run into single-bore tunnels. That section is just something to marvel at, especially with the ICT leading round a single track section gives the route a fleeting rural feel, and that such modern trains don't belong there, but they do. It's one of the sections he looks forward to on every run. The FlixTrain BR193 Vectron. For the second of our deluxe edition locos, get ready for the verdant colour to the route with the additional FlixTrain traction. Vectron and Talbot coaches wear neon green for iconic cross-country rail travel. So James, why should players be excited, and what makes the FlixTrain so special? Well, for starters, it's not red. Sounds simple, but it's always a fantastic opportunity to get additional operators for Germany, in particular as it allows us to break up the constant flow of red and white trains, and you can't get more contrasting than bright green. Operationally, FlixTrain also presents the chance to recreate long-distance rail services across all the German routes and trains in the world, with free roam and scenario planner. The Vectron is at home on the Köln-Aachen, Hubstrucker Rhein-Ruhr, Mainz-Spessart-Bahn and the Munich-Augsburg. So how will this differ to other Vectrons? Well, from a quick glance, you'd be forgiven for thinking all Vectrons are the same. But under the magnifying glass, subtle differences start to pop up. The outward appearance is in all the fairness the same. A Vectron is a Vectron, with that distinctive front end. Of course, the liveries make all the difference, and each one gives it a different feel. Now, the first one might notice, especially the Panto Police, the FlixTrain Vectron only has 2 pantographs rather than 4, like the DB and Railpool versions. This represents one key configurable difference. Not all Vectrons support the same electrification variety, and FlixTrain, being exclusive for German operation, does not need setup for other countries, whereas DB Cargo and Railpool routinely make their way across borders on Trans-Europe freight. The way that the light catches each loco also reveals a slight distinction in construction methods. Both DB and Railpool Vectrons share a subtly ribbed body side with the metal skin slightly bowing between the internal structure. But this is not present on the FlixTrain Vectron. As you can see with this flicking image that we're getting throughout this video, with the same perspective, the body is smooth throughout. You only notice if you're looking for it, but these are the details that makes all the difference. If anything, some of the most visible changes are actually in the cab. Different operators can spec the modular Vectron how they wish, so certain screen locations can vary between variants. So as a result, all 3 Vectrons which are now in TrainSim offer a different forward-facing view and require looking in different places for the same information. Note also how the dedicated freight-only DB Vectron has no LZB. Any key unique features of the loco? Well, aside from the aforementioned differences, the uniqueness of the Vectron is primarily used for passenger services, and as such comes with its own set of new to TrainSim Talbot cars. Now, these cars are refurbished classic throughout Germany, the Terrigio UICX type. So as much as they can be used on FlixTrain duties with some livery formation and designer work, they would look just as authentic as find an Orientrot BR103. So, catch a glimpse of the Frankfurt Fulda. That is going to be the 11th of September. We're now looking at the get on board with the free starter pack. So, Dovetail love being closely involved across the many TrainSim communities, and they've come to understand that for many players there's a growing desire for a more accessible entry point to jump into the latest version of TrainSim. So they're very excited and proud to reveal that this year they're providing a free opportunity to get onto the newest release across all the supported platforms with the starter pack, free starter pack, that joins the roster of TrainSim 5 bundles. The free starter pack will give you access to the training centre and the core feature set of TrainSim 5 features that aren't tied to route-based content. This pack will not provide you with any routes on its own. So if you're interested in the new Train Sim World 5 content, you'll find more value in the premium bundles that include the routes and locos that we've covered already. However, if you already play Train Sim World on the same platform and account, you'll be able to bring any compatible add-ons you already own into Train Sim World 5 and play them with the newest features. On top of being a fantastic way for new players to begin their Train Sim World journey, this is also a good benefit to existing players, because the free starter pack allows you to access new add-ons released after the launch of Train Sim World 5, even if you have yet to purchase a core bundle. Update any previously owned compatible routes to their current remastered variants. I don't know, West Somerset Railway, Cathcart Circle, or maybe the upcoming Great Western Express remaster. Explore any Train Sim World patches you have missed on your favourite routes if you weren't on the most up-to-date version of Train Sim World. So once you claim the free starter pack, you keep it forever. But as an important note, this pack will only be available for 30 days after the launch of the Train Sim World 5, and therefore will expire 17th of October 2024. So be sure to make sure that you get hold of it if you need it. If you have any more questions, there is the Train Sim World 5 frequently asked questions link. So, future roadmap additions. So this is going to be interesting because there's so much more on the roadmap. So Dovetail hope you enjoyed the Take a Ticket reveal show that they featured on the Dovetail Direct, which announced 6 brand new routes and 2 brand new countries coming to Train Sim World in the near future. So they wanted to provide some additional detail and work in progress screenshots to further explain what can we expect from these announcements and get us excited for the future beyond Train Sim World 5's launch. Well, with many of these new announcements, they've looked at pushing the world of Train Sim World further and wider to new countries, or found opportunities that would tie these upcoming releases into the new core features of Train Sim World 5, route hopping connections, or new gameplay and conductor mode. Well, please keep in mind that many of these add-ons are still heavily in development, and the information that they've been able to give at this stage may be fairly limited, but it will be followed up with more news in the monthly roadmaps. So first of all, the MBTA commuter Boston to Framingham Worcester line. We'll be returning to Boston to embark on another journey across the MBTA commuter network. Instead of heading south towards Providence, this time we'll be heading west into the heart of Massachusetts along this Worcester line. You'll be working the line with the existing F40PH-3C, as well as the distinctive and new HSP46, which you can already see in the screenshots is looking rather splendid. Accompanying the already existing single-deck BTC and CTC cars, highly anticipated and brand new double-decker MBTA equipment shall also be included. The renders are still undergoing development, but we are excited for more information, and they will be sharing it when ready. Great Western Express remastered in Train Sim World 5. Well, if you thought the West Somerset and the Cathcart Circle remasters were blockbusters, you really can't imagine what is coming with the incredible work by game designer Liam to bring us the Great Western Express remaster. So, the oldest UK route in Train Sim World will soon be catapulted into modern standards. Everything from volumetric skies to enhanced visuals, all the way to entirely rebuilt points of interest. A new timetable will be the perfect way to explore this refresh route. And there may even be some extra surprises to see along the way. So, what is new for GWE? Full route overhaul with Todd 4 lighting. New timetable, Great Western Express 2017. Conductor mode on the HST Mark IIIs and the Class 166. Updated landscape, scenery, signage, overhead, signals and track with Train Sim World 5 Shadows. Updated lighting and weather effects for all GWE and Diesel Legends stock. Upgraded both GWE Class 66s to the latest 66 specs, including suspension and audio. New and rebuilt landmarks including the Southall Depot, the Old Oak Common and Ealing Broadway. Added new suspension physics to all GWE stock and Diesel Legends Class 08, Mark 1 and Mark 2s, and so much more. Each remaster has accompanied some additional experience for you to enjoy in the route in new ways. West Somerset came with Steam Gala. Cathcart was supported with the release of the ScotRail 380. For Great Western Express, Liam is expanding the experience with additional layers and liveries. Back in blue. The HST and 166 will be available in unbranded blue livery, and there will also be formations to mimic the Class 165. Going electric. The Class 387 will appear in the route in an unbranded green. Airport and Gatwick Express liveries, complete with appropriate numbering and making use of the overhead electric between Paddington and Hayes and Harlington. Under the ground, with kind permission from Rivet Games, the Class 484 will show up too as a layer, masquerading as its former life as a D78 stock and inspired unbranded livery. Please note you will need to own Brighton Mainline and Iron Line 2022 for the 387 and the 484 liveries respectively. These will be updates to those add-ons which then layer into GWE. Of course, if you're an existing owner of GWE and previous TSW titles, here's a reminder that you will be able to access this if you get the free starter pack. So if you've not upgraded and you're not getting Train-to-Well 5 with the core routes, get the free starter pack. You'll then get the upgraded Great Western Express at no extra charge. Oh my goodness, this is something that has been working on for months, and we've been requesting different things. Liam, can you get hold of HST Blue? Liam, can you update this Southall Depot? Liam, can you add this car park to Hayes and Harlington? We've been bombarding him with requests and little requests for each tiny little detail. Can you do this? Can you add that? Oh, that'd be nice to have some underground trains. And Liam has just gone, yes, 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 yes. This is an amazing route, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. I really am, because I've seen photos, I've seen all of that, but actually driving this route is going to be epic, because this is my original route that I started on Train Sim World Founders Edition, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the work that Liam has done on this. And I don't know what else to say. It's amazing. Next, we've got the I'm really bad with this. The Mannheim to Kaiserslautern route. So it continues as it was in 2014, heading west out of Mannheim HBF, a hub for rail fanning if there ever was one. The route starts off with a pace, speeding along the Nudstadt, the Weinster HBF. It's then a slow ride from there, winding through the valley of the Kaiserslautern. From 111 operated regional services to 425s on the Rhine-Neckar S-Bahn, there's lots of variety to look forward to. And yes, there is a station called Frankenstein. The next route, West Coast Mainline, Preston to Carlisle from Just Trains. Just Trains team are excited to announce the West Coast Mainline Preston to Carlisle. Just Trains, following on from the highly acclaimed Blackpool branches Preston to Blackpool and Ormskirk route add-on. It's full speed north as the next route departs from the city of Preston and runs through detailed and highly immersive scenery through Penrith to the city of Carlisle, which along with the option to drive the unelectrified Morecambe branch gives you a total of over 100 miles to drive. Set in the late 1980s, the route features the electrified core of the West Coast Mainline from Preston to Carlisle. However, you can operate DMU services on the Morecambe Promenade branch to the seaside. They have also extended the main line north of Carlisle Citadel Station to Kingmore Yard and Depot. Just like Blackpool branches, there is a wealth of content for us to enjoy. The feature loco is the impressive, the iconic and complex Class 87/0, along with the BR Mark 3A coaches and the FFA FGA Freightliner wagons. This 110-mile-an-hour rated locomotive provided power for the main services between London, Euston and Glasgow during the 1980s and will look at home as it storms through the Lune Gorge and onwards to the summit of Shap. An exciting and vibrant timetable along with an impressive mix of express, freight and passenger services coupled with the 87 means that you will not want to miss the West Coast Mainline from Preston to Carlisle. Development has also started on their first loco add-on, which itself will be for West Coast Mainline and add even more highly anticipated variety. So just mentioning this because I saw a few comments on this, that the pictures that you've got of the Class 87, the pantograph is not up. The reason why the pantograph is not up is, as of last week, I don't think, because it's work in progress, the overhead electric lines were in, but they weren't active. So that's why it's not up, which I think is just a bit of a... They should have put it up for the photo, but because it's not active, they're driving it in like off the rails mode, so that's probably why it's not on. I will say that if I get told off, I am sorry. I just thought it was just a valid reason to bring out that they're still working on it, but at the time that picture was taken was when there was no overhead power, so that's why it was down. Anyway, Dovetail want to announce 2 brand new countries coming to Train Sim World. First of all, the Cardiff City Network. That is right, Kimru and Beath. Hopefully I got that right. I got Kimru's right. Expanded our breadth of UK content. We'll be exploring rail operations on the other side of the Severn with their very first Welsh route. And where better to start than the capital city of Cardiff? Featuring a densely packed network within the city, intense passenger services will keep us busy aboard Transport for Wales diesel multiple units, operating through many stations on various timetable patterns. A swift departure from the long intercity running of the West Coast Mainline routes. And the map there are so many stations. This is like a an intense passenger. It's like a network, that was it, an intense network of trains. So it's not a route from A to B. You know, it's not Cardiff, what I did, Cardiff to Bridgend kind of thing. This is like loads of routes in between, and there's tons going on there. And the stuff that they've been telling us so far has been amazing. I am looking for Cardiff City, especially the DMUs, which is not mentioned here because we'll be looking at that later down the line. But yeah, it's good, and I hope it's going to be good when we start playing it. So, hello to Holland, to the Netherlands. A long anticipated arrival is on the way for rail fans as they get ready to enter another new country. Express and commuter services are the mainstay of the Zwolle-Groningen route, operated by the Netherlands Spoorwegen iconic ICM3 Koploper and the SNG, which is the Sprinter New Generation EMUs. Learn new signals and systems as you dash along the countryside in yellow and blue fashion. It's a little further away, but Dovetail wanted to take the chance to share the excitement with a work-in-progress render of the ICM3, complete with its iconic raised cab. So, just to mention this, because I saw a couple of comments where people are going, oh, this is a boring route. I think this is a great start, and if it goes well, and it's a good route, then we really do hope Dovetail will expand that and go for more routes within Holland, within the Netherlands. But even just having that ICM3, I've been on that, and ever since I've been on it, I've wanted to drive it in Train Sim World, and now it's coming. So checking in on the Tadami Line from Union Workshop. So bringing us up to date. Bringing us to an outstanding 3 brand new countries coming to Train Sim World. During the Dovetail Direct, they briefly mentioned the previously announced Tadami Line, under development by Union Workshop, which will take us across the beautiful scenery of Japan. Well, today we have a few new work-in-progress environment shots to share from their team on current progress for the upcoming add-on, and they'll be sharing more in the monthly roadmaps going forward. The final screenshot provided is one of Union Workshop's asked them to highlight, known as the Miyashita Three Brothers, a famous train spotting point along the Tadami Line, featuring 3 bridges within a single picturesque scene. Is it a bird? It's an Airbus licensed plane. For the first time, Dovetail have been able to secure licensed aircraft in Train Sim World in the form of the Airbus A321 long range, and the Airbus A350-1000 XWB. As mentioned for Frankfurt Fulda, this allows them to bring the skies above cities to life in all new ways, giving us something to look at for a while on the move, providing it's not cloudy. As well as Frankfurt Fulda, you'll see aircraft above the skies of the San Bernardino's Los Angeles for the LAX patterns, as well as Great Western Express remaster for the Heathrow patterns. Hopefully there's going to be more from that, because you've got Brighton Mainline with planes, but it's great that they finally got the license for those 2 aircraft, and you never know, there might be more in the future. So, Roadmap Part 2 will be checking in with the rest of the third-party partners in the second part of Train Sim World 5 Roadmap coming out, diving into all the new features and creative tools in detail, and also featuring even more new add-on teasers, announcements, as well as another core feature coming to Train Sim World which they've not had a chance to shed light on yet. Oh, interesting. So, Train Sim World VR New York. So as the announcements keep coming, as part of Dovetail Direct, they unveiled the VR title, Train Sim World VR New York. Developed by the friends at Just Add Water, this is their way of taking the way you experience train simulation to a whole new world. From the announcement, they previewed some initial in-development gameplay of what you can expect, which you can watch from the live event. Whilst this new VR title is part of the Train Sim World family, they wanted to clarify that existing add-ons for Train Sim World will not be compatible with Train Sim World VR New York. It is a totally separate game. They have used a snippet of the Harlem line and using VR, and as I said on my previous video of the announcement, I've been on it. I've been on the demo version that's at Gamescom this week, and just having like the hands and doing it, yeah, it's very immersive. It's very different to Train Sim World because it doesn't have simulgraph and things, but I do think it's a great start to VR to then hopefully work on more from them. So Train Sim World Tycoon coming to Roblox. Further expanding the world of Train Sim World, they've been developing an all-new train experience called Train Sim World Tycoon with their friends at Tailwind, coming this year on Roblox. This will be a free-to-play game that anyone can access with a Roblox account and will feature multiplayer elements and suitable for all ages to jump in and enjoy. They're hoping to reach out to all new audiences with this title and get even more people excited about the rails. In TSW Tycoon, you'll find trains inspired by real-world locomotives, and these will feature simpler driving controls that support a wider audience, including those who may be younger. Whilst playing, you will earn coins to upgrade your station over time to build your network and exploring the world. You will also encounter new biomes and characters within the game who will help you out. You'll also be able to encounter other players in a variety of ways by visiting other players' stations, hosting and receiving visitors at your own, ride along as a passenger on another player's train, or invite them to join your journey. Drive around the world alongside others in your trains, and you can catch some of the TSW Tycoon gameplay from the Dovetail Direct to see that in action. And in the coming months there'll be more information and launching a chance to get it in early before the official release to try it out. City Transport Simulator Tram. So for fans of CTS Tram, during the Dovetail Direct they announced the new upcoming 0.3 update, which includes a new Vienna Type D tram, map extensions, new sidings, more player levels, and much, much more. There is going to be a CTS summary during the event. Check out the City Transport Simulator Tram on the View app website. So, that was the mammoth roadmap. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. It's been fun. But I need to go back inside now because I'm in my van, because it's too echoey in there and the dog's walking around. This has been going on for almost an hour. I did tell Mrs. MegaSim I'd be half an hour. Oops. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Put some comments in down below what you are looking forward to with Train Sim World 5. And when I get a chance, I'll do the second roadmap. But have a great day, everyone, and I will see you on the next video. This is MegaSim out of here. See you soon, guys. Bye.